Did you know that no matter how well you stack a pile of bricks, they'll still fall down eventually? That's what happens when you burn out. Let me preface this video by saying that if you are experiencing burnout or close to it, that I am not a medical professional and your best bet is to seek professional help from someone. But I'm not that someone. I'm just a random guy that's trying to give out decent advice. Burnout is a very real thing that's caused mostly by being overworked, having a lack of social support, and a lack of self-care. I actually made a video on how to get over burnout, which you can watch up here. But the whole point of this video is gonna be that no matter how efficiently you work, no matter how much you think you can take on in your work, if you try and work too much, you're gonna burn out and it's not gonna be fun at all. That's actually one of the reasons that I stopped uploading 2 videos per week this past summer. I found myself coming home from work and getting to the point where I was like, oh, I have to write 2 scripts this week again. And it was the again part that was getting to me. I wasn't having a problem with 1, but 2 is what I didn't feel good about. So one day I was sitting there thinking, man, why can't I just upload 1 video a week? And it was like I had an epiphany, like, yeah, I can upload 1 video a week. I had gotten so used to uploading 2 videos a week that now I viewed it as something that had to happen. But I had forgotten that uploading videos is still something that's flexible and I still have control over the amount of videos that I upload. It wasn't that I was burning out, but I felt like the second video didn't get as much love as the first video. And I was getting to a point where I just said, forget it, it's good enough. And yes, the argument can be made that done is better than perfect, but there's still a part of me where I hold myself and my videos to a certain standard, and that standard has to be met for every video, otherwise I don't upload it. I know for sure if I kept uploading 2 videos a week that eventually I would have burned out, and knowing that I had previous experience from burning out before, I knew that that was something I definitely didn't want to happen. When I was still live streaming on Twitch, I live streamed for about 4 hours a night, every single night. I rarely ever took a day off, and when I did, it was because my girl and I went somewhere or there was a special occasion happening or something like that. And I just got to a point where I reached my breaking point and I didn't even want to see my gaming setup anymore. I played and played and played so much that I let the concept of gaining followers and subscribers overtake my life, and that wasn't healthy at all. So what are some things that we can do to prevent burnout in our lives? Well, I think that the first and a very important thing is to consider the workload that you're taking on. Everyone has different tolerances for the amount of work we can handle, and there's no harm in wanting less of a workload for a better work-life balance. Don't let the hustle and grind culture nowadays trick you into buying into any of that. Just because you see people you work with taking on more work doesn't mean that you also have to do the same thing. Maybe they don't have kids that they have to deal with, so that's one less thing on their mind, and maybe you do. I don't know your situation, but maybe they have their spouse helping them at home because they're in the same field, or maybe they're just smarter than you, and there's no issue with that. I know it's kind of a hit to your ego to hear that, but there's nothing wrong with people being smarter than you. That's just how life is. There's always going to be someone better looking, or somebody that has more money, or somebody that's smarter than you. The best thing that you can do is to try your best, put in the work, and let the chips fall where they do. I think the next thing that you have to do is you have to learn to disconnect after work. If you're coming home from work and then you're working on more work, that's a recipe for disaster. You're not giving yourself any you time, and you're not taking the time to disconnect from work, which is a problem. Think about it. You're going to work, so you're already thinking about what you have to do today. Then you get there and you're doing the things that you have to do, and then you're coming home and you're thinking about work. So when do you have time for yourself? On the weekend? 2 out of the 7 days in the week? That's not healthy. Trust me when I say that those emails can wait. Kathy from work can wait until tomorrow. It's rarely ever a life and death situation at work, so just take some time to chill, but don't neglect your work. Use your time off the way that it was meant to be used. as time off. Another very important thing that you'll find that gets the short end of the stick is your sleep. Like I said before, don't come home from work and then work on work again. Maybe stop for a quick meal and then go back to work until you go to bed. I found myself telling myself that, oh, I'm almost done this script, or I'm almost done this little social media clip and I'll go to bed after. Just this one last thing. That was my famous line, one last thing. My girl would ask me what time I was going to bed and I would say I'm going to bed soon, and then soon would turn into like an hour more of work, and then waking up the next morning wasn't worth staying up the extra hour. So let's just leave it at that. Sleep is vital to our health, and it's not something that we can be neglecting. I'm not sure why it became this thing where you sleep when you're dead and hustle culture, because it's all just a bunch of bullshit. And to be honest, I bought into it also. When I was live streaming, I slept like 6 hours a night. All I did was work, and that's partially the reason that I burned out. Personally, I have to have a minimum of 7 hours of sleep for me to function, and anything less than that is highly uncomfortable to me. You know, I want to be able to consistently put out videos for years to come, and uploading those 2 videos a week highly affected my ability to do so. I'm willing to sacrifice the short-term gain in views and subscribers and the chance for a hit video in order to make my long-term goal come true, which is to be the person that I needed when I was younger. And if I'm being honest, I'm basically already there. At the end of the day, work is important, don't get it twisted. We all have to do it because, we all have bills to pay, but it won't mean anything if you're always stressed out and you have health problems when you're like 40. There's no harm in asking for help because you're overworked. I think it's actually a sign of maturity, and taking care of yourself is never a bad option. Put your ego aside, ask for help if you need it, learn to disconnect from work, and prioritize your sleep. I don't know why people brag about working 60 to 70 hours a week. Like, that's not a flex to me. But hey, people can do whatever they want. It's their life. I hope they have some sort of plan to retire early or to start something new, and they're just trying to build up a little bit of capital, because then it'll probably be worth it. Until then, I wish them and you the best of luck. I hope this video brought you some value, and as always, thanks for watching.